Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Springbank 30, 46%. It sounds like that should be a more exciting title. Springbank 30, 46%.
Batch one.
Batch one.
Of the new series, at least.
Yeah, this is the 2022 release, I want to say. 21?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
21 or 22. One of our, I'm pouring it for you too. One of our,
like, wait a minute here.
One of our subscribers was kind enough, or at least one of Dustin's buddies, kind enough to send us a sample of the Springbank 30. Was talking about how we never tried it and what a fan of Springbank Dustin was. And since I poured, Dustin, you pick. I don't even want to look at it. So this is, yes, the 2022.
That was better than I thought.
The one that was poured on 4 of 22, 46% ABV. Yeah, Dustin, when you know the other person's going to pick, you pour right. That was always the deal in my house. If you're the one doing the pouring, the other one...
From over here, it looked like it was like going to be way off. I was like, geez. And then I got close. We're good.
If you're pouring, the other person's doing the picking. Treat people how you want to be treated, my friend.
Absolutely.
Speaking of treating people how they want to be treated, you want to give a shout out to the guy who sent us this for absolutely nothing?
I did not ask him if he wanted to have his name put out there.
Sure.
But he is the guy who sent Rob and Jeremy their samples. So he has been a huge benefactor to the Whiskey Tube community and putting it out there. Canadian friend of ours. So
Canadians are always...
Oh, Canada.
Always good guys. So thank you, my friend. We're really excited to get to this. I have given Dustin subtle jabs to buy this bottle every time he's seen it, so we're glad we got to try it without setting Dustin back too much.
The new batch is out, but oh my God, it's $3,000, Mike.
That's what they are, buddy.
2,000. So our friend here got it for about 2,000 Canadian. This one, so
good deal.
Much better price than we're seeing.
All right, let's get into this one, Dustin. Long time coming, Springbank 30. So we got some rare gems here lately.
Fully matured bourbon cask here, Mike.
And you're getting it. It smells dense though, boy, and rich.
It's got that rich, old leathered vanilla note that I love.
Yeah, instantly what you get off this, the first flavor I picked up was vanilla. Like a very oaky, not really oaky vanilla, but it's a rich vanilla along with a deep oak note.
It's even giving me some hints of like old bourbon oak notes, which is a really nice note here.
Almost Linkwood 37-esque as far as the oak note. I mean, it's an impressive one.
I mean, I'm almost thinking it's got a little hint of that King of Kentucky, just varnish kind of thing going. I mean, it's subtle, and you've got a lot more of the malty characteristics of course, Springbank and a Scotch in general, but it's got little hints of ultra age.
Yeah, it doesn't come off like as leathery as a lot of like a 30-year-old whiskey you think would. It still very much holds the core of what it does, being Springbank.
It's more on the oily, rich, waxy Springbank. Hint of almost like a banana with that as well.
I get that on Springbanks a lot. And I know sometimes I would question myself whether or not on Springbanks because usually a banana is like a young note. Mm-hmm. But it does give a vanilla, candied banana sort of note in some of these older Springbanks. And I've gotten that on older Springbanks.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't initially come off super old, but when you get to like the end of the nose, there's that really stately old oak note. So the 30 does come off here, but it's not overpowered. This is not over oak. They've not overdone this cask at all, or I don't know how many casks. It was something like 1,000 bottle release. So
yeah, at least on the nose, I would instantly think ultra aged whiskey, 30-plus-year-old whiskey.
See, I mean, initially I would think, maybe 20-year, and then as you get deeper into it, you're like, no, it's older. There's something there.
Oh, man, it's just like there's like just crystallized sweetness in here.
This is going to be this is a treat right here. You can just tell.
Yeah, look, dude. I'm excited to put a little bit of water in this.
I don't get the funk notes coming through here, Mike, and I don't get the peat notes here at all. Not even like the maritime saltiness. No brine. It's very clean vanilla. Mm-hmm. Little bit. I mean, there's some fruits here.
Yeah. So my first guess would be a light citrus, but I don't even know if I want to go as far as a citrus fruit, but sort of a candied lemon maybe.
It's got a light citrus. I agree, but it's reminding me of just old bourbon where it takes on a slightly like an alcohol varnish note.
This is all bourbon, right?
Yes.
And you can tell like they didn't have to try to jazz this up with anything with a fancy cask maturation or, something exotic, port pipes. We'd have finished it for 2 years and this, years and this. This smells just like it's just bourbon all the way. No finishings whatsoever.
It's got a good color too, so it's telling me these are probably not dead. I mean, bourbon casks. I know Springbank, for a while there, the 25 was using some pretty tired casks, and that's why they did do some things like where they transferred it into a port pipe or something.
Yeah, this just smells like to me that they set some whiskey down and maybe second, third fill bourbon, let it just sit there for 3 decades, and this is what we got.
I'm starting to get a little bit of a saltine cracker note here. Just kind of sneaking in with it. So maybe the salt's going to come out when we put some water.
Yeah. I mean, kind of a straightforward nose. I mean, the flavors are excellent. I mean, and good whiskey sometimes it's not overly shocking what you're getting.
Yeah.
It's just done well. It's like a steak. You know what I mean? You can go to 5 premium steakhouses, pay anywhere from say $80 to $150 for a good fillet, and they're all somewhere in the middle there. But
it really all came down to, was it a good cut that
Right.
you got, and did they cook it right?
Right.
And did they not over season?
Yeah, I don't know if you get the steak any better than this. I guess is what I'm saying. You get a good start here.
I'm already expecting that I'm going to probably spend more time talking about the way this whiskey structure is versus spending a lot of time on flavor notes, because I don't think this is it's not coming off as something that's going to have a lot of exciting flavors. It's going to be about how well done it is. It's my hope, at least, Mike. So I'm going to sip on this thing, and we're going to find out.
Man, that was a good mouthfeel. Man, that is thick and rich for 46%. Oh, all right, let's get into flavors. The mouthfeel on this is so good at 46. I mean, you figure this is a higher ABV and a younger whiskey to some degree.
Yeah.
Almost close to 35-ish in that way, you know what I mean? Like, oh, wow, it's really popping for a 30-year-old whiskey. I think that's some bite to it, you know what I mean? Even at 46. And it's so thick and rich, you know what I mean? Like the palate, that's sometimes my knock on Springbank is the 46%. I like a little bit richer. That comes off as rich as any 46% whiskey I've ever tried. Am I wrong?
The oiliest Springbank I've ever had, including cask strength ones. That is incredibly oily.
I would say we've had 18, 19-year-old, single barrels and stuff like that. It's incredibly oily, you're right.
And it's funny. It's got a bite, like you mentioned, a little bit of a pepper bite, a little bit of an oak bite, but it doesn't have but it doesn't hit you with, alcohol can sometimes thin something out because you get an alcohol bite.
Yeah, it's not that.
None of that.
No, it's oak, it's vanilla. I mean, again, I'm struggling to get the exact citrus sweetness because I don't want to go as far as citrus because it's too harsh of a flavor for what this is. But there is some type of, I keep wanting to call it candy lemon.
There is straight up pineapple on the finish here for me, man.
Oh, maybe it's going into pineapple. Maybe that's what it is.
It's like that tropical pineapple, candied, and oaky. It's pineapple oak, man.
Yeah, very oaky. Way
Beautiful.
more oaky than on the palate than on the nose. Way more oaky.
Yeah, a beautiful oak finish that, it finishes with oak and then it just got this oak lingering. You definitely get that 30 years for sure.
Oh, yeah, on the finish, big time. I mean, and on the palate, too, it's rich. It's a dense drop.
Up front, it's very simple. It's sweet,
Agreed.
lightly citrused. The pineapple doesn't come until mid to late palate.
I'm going to have one more sip for it, but water.
I had to do a second sip myself. Yeah, it's this is a structure whiskey for sure. Mm-hmm. It's not about the flavors on this one, guys. It is about how well they have done everything they've done here. And this is probably the most balanced and well put together Springbank I've ever had. It's not my favorite flavors. It's not my favorite expression of Springbank. I really don't get the peat very much.
Oh, we didn't even talk about it.
I don't get it.
Notice it.
I don't get the usual maritime notes. It's leaving me a little lacking in that area, but it's offsetting it in just this balance of oak, sweet.
A twinge of spice now.
It has a little bit of oak spice and just nice oak tannins. An incredibly easy drinker. Lingers.
I'm getting the vanilla, but are you getting any sugar cookie? I'm not getting that either.
Mm-mm. No, it's left the traditional Springbank notes well in the dust.
30-year-old whiskey sometimes do that, Dustin, as you know. I mean, think about how different the 30-year-old Talisker was compared to the other, things in the offering, or Highland Park 30, or you know what I mean. 30-year-old whiskey, it changes the whiskey and what it does.
Water, no surprise, it's coming off a little more candy now.
I think the citrus note, the pineapple or candy lemon, or whatever one you want to go with, that seems more predominant too.
It's more lemony on the nose. It's more pineapple on the palate.
I didn't want to say something as basic as lemon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is kind of lemon.
It's kind of lemony on the nose. I mean, really, it's
lemon vanilla.
It's vanilla, lemon, a little bit of a hint of runts, banana. Definitely some nice oak. The spice is gone with water.
this is going to seem crazy. I know it's not going to seem crazy. But there's almost like a golden sponge cake note to it.
Okay.
Almost like I don't want to say a Twinkie, even though that's kind of like sponge cake. It's something a little more craft than that, not so mass.
A little more. It's denser than a Twinkie would be. It's a more dense,
and not like the cream inside, just like the sponge cake itself. Like you ever get those little sponge cakes at the store, and you put strawberries on them, like whipped cream, make the little.
I generally avoid that kind of stuff. It's just not my sweets.
I hate it all.
That said, I have seen those sponge cakes with pineapples on them.
Because like we open up that pack of 4 or 6 little flat sponge cakes. A little bit of that.
Yeah, they've hit a home run here in terms of just how they put all this together. God, all right, let's go in for a little taste.
Yeah. I mean, like we said before, flavors are pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm. Just done extremely well, which that's exactly what you expect out of something like this. I mean, I'm not expecting to get a taste I've never had before. I just want same flavors that I come to appreciate with Springbank, done really, really well. And if that's your expectation, you're in the right ballpark.
We got more lemon now coming through. Dare I say maybe like a treacle or something? Which I don't even know how to really explain, but it's just kind of got a nice combination of fruits. Now I'm starting to get maybe a hint of like a lime or something that's been sitting out, by the pond, still water.
Maybe a tad bit of minerality.
Yeah, just a little bit of that for sure. The beauty of this whiskey is that it's so drinkable. The mouthfeel is so good for 46. It arrives at just such a beautiful place. The finish is above average even for like a 21, 25 Springbank in terms of length. Mouthfeel's a little bit better. There's no hook here. There's no like flavor that I want to come back for. There's nothing super special there.
The oaky lemon is nice though.
But this is just a beautiful, easy drinker. It's a shame this is so expensive. It's a shame this is such a I mean, because of the price, this is not one of the hardest Springbanks to get.
No.
Unfortunately,
they solved that problem, didn't they?
Well, at least here in the States. Over in the UK, I think this is like a $600 or 600-pound bottle where you could actually obtain one.
Makes it more
for a reasonable price. And, of course, the secondary quickly takes that out. Here in the States, this thing came out close to the $3K mark, and that slowed biting up substantially.
All right, Dustin. So, on that note, where are you as far as a whiskey score? Allow me. I kept myself completely out of I haven't read about this whiskey or anything other than what the cask maceration was. So I wanted to give it just as unfettered of a opinion I possibly can. But here's where I'm at. It's a really good whiskey. It's not one of my epic whiskeys I've ever had. As a matter of fact, I might even have had a Springbank or two that I enjoy a little bit more than this. Mm-hmm. But as far as what it is, I'm still at a 92 out of 100.
Yeah, my enjoyment on this one is really probably about a 90, Mike. But it's so well structured. That nice oiliness, the waxiness. It actually gives me a little bit of a Klein-Leach note here, when I think about it with the waxiness.
A little bit.
From the oiliness.
Select Reserve, too?
Not quite as, that had like a bodega note sweetness. But anyway, I'm going to put this at a 91. Overall, I think it's a really well done, well put together Springbank. But I'm not, I can't justify the price. I will not be buying a bottle of this based on this. But God, I mean, if I get it for the UK price, I'd buy it in a second.
Yeah, no, it's a really good whiskey. Over $2,000 pushing it, depending on what your version of pushing it is. You know what I mean?
I mean, this to me is $1,000 whiskey.
Yeah, it's about that. I mean, and when you said my whiskey score, 92 is definitely the quality of the whiskey it is. Yeah, I'm probably where you're at 91 or so as far as enjoyment of it. I've had other Springbanks I liked a little bit better because the cask maturation was a little bit more exciting, a little bit higher of ABV. But a couple things with this one, Dustin. Number one, I love super old Springbank, as I've always told you. Springbank can be good young, but it can really be good when it's old, or it almost always is.
I just wish it had a little more Springbank to it. I want more of that. I want a little bit of the peat. I want a little bit of the funk. I mean, it doesn't have to have a lot, but I need a little.
Agreed, but with what I'll finish on this is, I will say at 46%, this is about as rich and as well as you can do a 46% whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, the mouthfeel on this thing is honestly shockingly good. They killed it here, and I'm actually, with that little bit of water, I'm even starting to see a little mist come through on here, Mike, and I didn't put much.
I tell you what, this was a solid sample sent to the guy. We had plenty for both of us to get into, so Thank
Really
you, my
appreciate
friend.
that,
You got something that I can send you back. I always like to reciprocate any good gesture. So,
And Mike is the one to send it because it's got to go to Canada, and that involves a little bit of tact.
I'm a pro. ship all day. Anyway, those are our thoughts on the Springbank 30 2022 release. We'll put all the details in the comment section. But if you guys had a chance to try this one, we'd love to know what you guys think. Until next time, Dustin, what do we wish the folks?
Happy epic drinking.
We'll see you then. It's going to be a fun night, Dustin. Took me a minute to get up and get moving. Fun night.
Let's do it.
Ready?
Yep.
Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Let me look at something.
Today, we're going to look at Mike's swollest feature. Post and comment down below.
Let's be on Pornhub, bro.